Hello and welcome people, this is me MD3 and this is going to be the Matchday preview as well as obviously the Bayern Munich versus Leverkusen preview for the Bundesliga Matchday 3. So let's begin. So the first match that's going to happen today actually is Wolfsburg versus Schalke, and now with Højbjerg in Schalke as well, I'm kind of happy, but obviously he's only going to go there after the match tomorrow against Leverkusen, then he's going to go there. But normally, if this was last season, I would have said Wolfsburg were the clear favourites, and I think that Wolfsburg will make it. However, having seen Schalke this season, like how they played in the first two games, I think that Schalke is a good chance. But also Wolfsburg, because they haven't performed as well, I think that they are under pressure a lot. So I see this match being a draw, which is really rare, since Schalke normally away, they're not as good away as they are at home. So I see this being a draw, and it's going to be a 2-2 draw. That's what I see it being as. Next up, we have Augsburg versus Ingolstadt tomorrow. I think that Augsburg is going to take that match. I think that they want to show that they're still the same team. They want to show that they still have the quality to compete in the Europa League for a while, and that's what they're going to show tomorrow. Basically, prep themselves up for the Europa League, and I do see them win 2-0 against Ingolstadt. Next up, we have Cologne against Hamburg, and this is a tough one. I think that if Cologne wins, then they'll get hyped and they will think that they can get to the Europa League places. But if Hamburg wins, then that will get them hyped, and they will think that they won't get relegated or get to the relegation places. So it's a bit of which team do I not want to get hyped up. But look at Cologne playing at home in Hamburg. They've won last match. I think that this match is going to be a 2-1 to Cologne. Next up, we have Mainz versus Hanover, and I think that Mainz has the better team. Hanover, though, they have that extra little spark. So it's really a match between the better team versus a better spark, and at this point, since Mainz is at home, I think that their team will reign supreme, and I think that Mainz will win 2-1. Next up, we have Darmstadt versus Hoffenheim. Hoffenheim has been amazing. They've been unlucky to have 0 points, but the way they played against Leverkusen, they were great. I saw that match was 2-1, or it was either 2-1 or 3-1. I can't remember too well, but it was a great match. In Leverkusen, they really struggled against Hoffenheim, and we really struggled against Hoffenheim as well. I mean, we had the chances, but we didn't score, so I count that as struggling. Same with Leverkusen. So I see Hoffenheim take this match. They want to have the first match. They want to have the first win, and they deserved at least a point out of the last two games. So I think that they will show that they're going to win, and I think this match is going to be a 3-0 to Hoffenheim. Next up, we have Stuttgart versus Eintracht Frankfurt. That's a tough one. That's a really tough one. Based on how Stuttgart performed the last two matches, I think you would assume that they wouldn't win, and Frankfurt, they're okay. But I'm gonna go with Stuttgart. I think Stuttgart at home, they wanna show that they can win, and I think that's gonna happen. So I think this match is gonna be a 2-1. Next up, we have, and that's on Sunday, we have Borussia Dortmund versus Hertha Berlin. Looking at the current form of Borussia Dortmund, it'd be crazy not to go with them, and that's why I think that Dortmund will win. I think they'll win 4-0, so they'll have 3 matches won with a 4-0. That'll be quite interesting to see. But it's what it is. Next up, we have Werder Bremen versus Borussia Mönchengladbach. Borussia Mönchengladbach, they've not really been great at this beginning of the season, and Werder Bremen have been actually quite good to an extent. I'm not going to say they've been great, but they've been quite good from what I've expected them. I didn't expect them to be that good at this part of the season. So, Borussia Mönchengladbach, I expected them to be better at this point in the season. But I think that Borussia Mönchengladbach will win this match just because they've been really underperforming in the first 2 matches, and I think that they want to prove that they're still the same team that they were last season, and that just losing Kramer and Kruse is not going to make so much of a difference, and that's what they want to prove. And that's what I think Borussia Mönchengladbach is going to win this match 3-1. That's what I think. But now let's get on to our biggest match, which is Bayern Munich versus Bayern Leverkusen. So we're playing at home. And I think obviously we don't have Boateng and we don't have Benatia, so I think that we'll play with a 3-3. 3-3-3-1 or a 3-4-2, 3-4-2, 3-4-3 or a 4-3-3, but obviously a 4-3-3 wouldn't really work. But I think the way we're going to set up is with Rafinha on the right, in centre we have Dante, and on the left we have Alaba. Then we'll have yeah, on the left we'll have Alaba. Then on the right midfield spot we'll have Lam. Central one we'll have Vidal. Left we'll have Bernat. So we basically have like two backs of wing backs playing as midfielders and wing backs, and that will basically protect us on counters and whatnot, because that's where Leverkusen is the strongest at, and that is from the wings. So protecting the wings is going to be important, and with Vidal in the middle, we also have that extra steal in the middle, and Dante, he's basically a very physical presence. So it's basically exactly what we need. We won't have the speed with Dante, obviously, but we'll have the kind of physical presence that we need against a team like Leverkusen that like to be physical and like to press a lot. So it'll be interesting to see. Now, like I said, 3-3. 3-1, and I think the front three shouldn't really be mentioned, but I think on the right we'll have Robin. I think he's going to score as well. I think that it's time for him to score. On the left we'll have obviously Costa, and then central we have I'd go with Thiago, and as a striker obviously I'd go with Lewandowski. But looking at how Götze played, it'd be kind of weird to say to not have Götze in the central position, but then again it would also be weird to not have Müller there. So it's a tough call who'll be in the central position, but I think that looking at Thiago, looking at the matches he's played, like he hasn't actually played much lately due to his injury, so I think that Pep will play him, and as a striker it'll either be Lewandowski or Müller. Maybe Götze as well as a good shout, but against like the defense of Leverkusen, you're definitely a physical presence. So I think Leverkusen will be there, and if Thiago will get subbed out about 64th minute or so, and Müller will come on for Thiago to bring us that extra little bit of danger as well. So that's what I think. 3-3-3-1. Leverkusen, they'll basically set up similar to how they set up against Lazio in the Champions League playoff match. The only difference that I could potentially see is that Brandt will start instead of Mehmedi, but that also depends on if Roger Smith thinks that Brandt is the better player, not the better player, but the better player against us, which I don't think so. I think that Mehmedi would be the better player just because he's more physical, whereas Brandt is more technical. And against our physical defense, you either really need physical technical players, which Brandt isn't, or you need really physical players that can just power through, and that's what I think they'll have. I think that's what they go with. So that's what I think that Mehmedi will play over Brandt, and that's what I can see. But maybe Brandt will play. It depends on what Roger Smith kind of goes for. But I think Mehmedi will play instead of Brandt, or maybe he'll give a season debut for Campbell, which I really doubt. But we don't know. Campbell, he's played with Roger Smith before, so it might be that he'll be like, you know what, you already know my system, so you already know how I play, so you're already good to go. Who knows? But this was it. I think this match is going to be a draw. I don't see any of us winning. Like, I don't see Leverkusen winning, and I don't see us winning. I think it's going to be a high-scoring draw just because, I think that despite, us having kind of like a defensive sort of shape, I think that we are... We're going to concede goals. I think that's a given. And, we're missing our two best centre-backs, right? We're going to concede goals. But I think that attacking for us is just too much. And I think that we're also going to score goals. So I think this match is going to be a 2-2. I'm hoping for a win, obviously. But realistically, I'm seeing this match as a 2-2. And I think anything besides a loss is acceptable in my opinion. So, that's the way it is. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. How would you set up, and how do you think who's going to win and whatnot? What do you think about the other Bundesliga matches? Do you think that what I predicted is going to be right or not? But tell me in the comment section down below. As always, this was me, MD3. Rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe. Peace out, and have a nice day.